So it's been a little while since I put out a video. 2025 started off with a huge bang for me work-wise. I'm currently going through one of the busiest periods I've seen in a number of years. So it's unfortunately, so the videos kind of took a bit of a back seat, but I really wanted to shoot this one. We're getting very close now to the federal election in Canada on Monday, the 28th. Today's the 26th, Saturday, and there's only a couple of more days left in the campaign. And I tell you, I am incredibly concerned about the potential result on Monday. We went into initially, before the election was called, with the Conservatives under Pierre Poilievre commanding a very significant lead in the polls. Everybody, I think, at that point was completely had enough of 10 years of the Liberal government and the damage caused by 10 years basically of rule under Trudeau. I won't get into the whole. Sorry, traffic's a little bit crazy today. I won't get into the whole. My thoughts on the mandates, the lockdowns, the abuse of the protesters. That was for me. That was the straw that absolutely broke the camel's back. But it doesn't take somebody with overly great eyesight to see just what has happened to Canada over the past decade. Prices are absolutely through the roof. Petrol prices, because of the carbon tax, just increased significantly, causing a spill-on effect at the grocery store. Property prices are just absolutely insane. And I think most people now, younger people who don't own a home, have absolutely given up the idea of ever owning a home. It's just not feasible. Even if you're earning a good salary, with the rental costs, the taxation across the board, it's just not feasible now for anybody to consider saving for down payment and buying a home. This is not the same Canada I moved to. I used to absolutely love this country, and I'm now in a position where I'm considering. Once upon a time, somebody asked me, would I move back home, and I said absolutely not. And I hate to say, but I don't feel that Canada is any longer somewhere I feel at home. I proudly wore the uniform. I served proudly. I believe that it was my duty and my right and my obligation, in a way, to give something back to this country. But I feel that over the past number of years, that's been abused. And not just me, people that were born here, that served, that have given so much, their service has been taken for granted, especially when Trudeau told an injured veteran that veterans are asking more than the government can give them. Absolutely horrendous. So we're now coming up to an election. Unfortunately, the Conservatives were unable to bring the government down with a non-confidence vote, because Jagmeet Singh, the snake, and his NDP party, more concerned about their pensions than doing the right thing for Canadians, held on to the last possible minute, allowing Trudeau to slink off like a reptile, handing over power to Mark Carnage Carbon Tax Carney, the unelected, unofficial advisor to Trudeau, largely responsible for bringing in the carbon tax, previously having destroyed the British economy during his time as governor of the Bank of England. Despite the warnings coming from the UK, despite the overwhelming, just there's so much that should be causing Canadians just a massive amount of concern regarding regarding Carney. But he's done a fantastic job of making this election not about Canada, not about opioid deaths, not about rising costs, not about just the overwhelming sense of just people are just giving up. It's not about that anymore. He has made it solely about Trump. The threat from the South, Trump and the tariffs, Trump and his threats of making Canada the 51st state. And come on, anybody with half a brain can see that it's a trade war. Yes, there's been trade wars before. We can get through a trade war. He's being very inflammatory in his statements about making Canada the 51st state. Most likely that would never happen. But Carney is using it to his full advantage, and he's rallying this the I would say the boomer population in Canada, who have flipped over to saying that they'll be voting for him, believing he's the best person for the job because he's an economist with a PhD. Didn't do the Bank of England much good. He is completely tied to the WEF, his net zero agenda. I am so absolutely concerned that if the Liberals win another mandate on Monday, it will just absolutely destroy this country. There's so much to love about Canada, but I think it's going to be lost. It's going to be lost to a party, a movement. Nobody's changed in his new cabinet, in his government. They're the same old people that were there under Trudeau. He's talking about time for change. There's no change. There's absolutely no change. The only change that will happen is that he will triple down on all of the BS that Trudeau started. I'm concerned. I'm absolutely concerned. My plan is to start looking at a partial move back to the UK, but there, the same issues there as well. Starmer is another Trudeau, another Carney, who is destroying the country from within. We need change. We need massive change, and that will not come with a Liberal government. Things will only get worse. Things will become dire under another Liberal government. So let's stay tuned. Monday, I think Monday we find out. I think it's, I'd like to believe that it's fairly neck and neck, and at the last minute, the undecided voters will come out and we'll do the right thing. We'll restore pride in Canada. We'll make people wake up with a sense of optimism on Tuesday morning that things will change, that the new government will address the deficit, will address the rising costs, will address the taxes. Carney hasn't even officially repealed the carbon tax yet. It's still there. They've just temporarily paused it. That can come back again. And if you listen to anything he has said before, he is incredibly in favor of just eliminating fossil fuels completely. So I don't believe that the carbon tax will be disappearing. It will come back. Costs will continue to increase. The deficit will continue to balloon. And there won't be good times coming for Canada, where I think, and I'm driving along now and I see Liberal signs and I'm thinking, have you lost your minds, people? I never ever before told people who to vote for, but I think it's because up until now, it didn't matter who you voted for in Canada, Conservatives, Liberals. they were all fairly much, very centrist in a way. Um, it didn't really matter who you voted for, but this I think is the most important election in my memory in Canada, and I would suggest one of the most important elections ever in Canada. I think this will now determine the direction and the future of the country. So hopefully everybody will wake up Monday and go and do the right thing. If they haven't voted already in the advance polls, they'll go and do the right thing, and let's hope it's better times ahead. All right, guys. Um, I wanted to come and do something a little bit more positive, but I'm going to be getting back to some of the more fun videos shortly. I'm kind of leveling out with work just a little bit so I can spend some more time here. Anyway, guys, get out there and vote on Monday. I don't care ultimately who you vote for, but just get out there, make your voice heard. Well, I do care who you vote for. Hopefully you'll vote, for real change. But at the end of the day, it's all about the democratic process, exercising your rights. Get out there on Monday, vote, and we'll talk about it afterwards. Bye, guys. Take care.